there became another time, guys just decided they didn't fuck with me anymore. I said, you know what? This wouldn't happen to me if I slapped them. Like, this, I'm thinking right, because you know what, like, I'm already coming from an environment where people aren't treating me right, so I'm kind of used to people treating me right, so it's already a bother. But it's like, oh, why does nobody treat me right? Like, what's wrong with me? Because I'm used to being treated poorly and da-da-da. Like, it's kind of just like I cowered in and da-da-da. I just decided one day I didn't want to be a Neek anymore. Not gonna lie. I don't really fuck with this. Like,
But the biggest mindset shift, it's as simple as this. When I first started doing everything when I was 15, 16 years old, I had to come to the realization that nobody else was going to come and save me. If I wanted to achieve what I wanted to achieve out of life, I had to come to that realization, and I had to go and do the things that were necessary in order to get there myself. And even in today's day and age, I'm only 21 years old, I have a lot of life ahead of me. If I don't still come to the realization that no one is coming to save me, I'll end up going off the track that I'm on right now and losing everything that I've worked hard for and not set myself up for the future in the way I want to set myself up. So even today, even tomorrow, even a week from now, a year from now, I have to understand that no one is coming to save me, and I have to do the shit that's necessary in order to get to where I want to be in life. No one is going to hand you the blueprint. No perfect opportunity is coming. You just have to figure things out as you go. And honestly, that's what separates most people. Majority of people sit.
And I have a lot of recent compilations about this in like a financial sense, but generally, this is something that I've been saying since the abuse evidence channels. And once I stopped listening to people that were telling me that there's some help out there and that someone's coming to save me, and even the still to this day, the quote unquote "you need help" insults, the more I stopped listening to that, the more things I figured out, to make a long story short. Another agenda against chosen ones and gifted people.
Built to necessarily for people like us to be put in front of the line. I grew up with a hit my head on a swivel because they wanted my mother to abort me, so I kind of feel like they've been trying to get me since before I was in
That's
school.
actually
Really, same to you? Yeah, and I think that that's true across the board because I don't think society wants strong, intelligent,
And same for me.
like men roaming the planet because they know what happens when we get out there, and then when we get together, it's a wrap. We dominate, we take over.
And I just found this dude the other day, by the way.
Is to compete, or our ability to compete. And that might come through weakening our minds when we're very young, making sure that black males are not educated. Black men are the worst educated group of people in the school system. It might come down to distracting you, right? If I see a little black boy and then I put him on medication at an early age, make sure he doesn't get a good education.
And this goes into what I like to call the bad black boy with ADHD label, and also generally just the bad boy with ADHD label, because it's often sexist when it's not racial. And I've talked about this since 12, but especially the abuse evidence channels at 14. That's mentioned in this YNW Melly documentary, and also this one. And honestly, XXX, he was pretty much at risk of getting the bad black boy with ADHD label for fighting pretty often due to his abuse symptoms. And also, it's simply bullcrap that people being forced on psychotropics in infancy doesn't make them become addicts later. It totally does. Although I would say Adderall and Xanax does. Most psychotropics make you so sick and cause so many neurological and physical health issues, it'll make you scared to take anything, but many people do become addicted to substances more due to it. It depends on the person. For me personally, drug addiction never appealed to me anyways. It's never something that I would do as a coping mechanism. But if I would have been the type of person for it would happen to me, would have changed that anyways, because I still have so many serious health issues from being drugged, only from mid-12 to early 14. We live in a society where people are forced on drugs in infancy and told that it's impossible to function without them.
All my life, I've had like ADD, so my mom has been putting me on Vyvanse and Adderall, and I've been all the doctor's appointments. So it's the same shit. I always tested high, very, very intelligent person. But I wasn't one of the motherfuckers that could just sit in the classroom and just focus on the teacher talking to me.
I'd get like 6A, 6B, like that's what we had, like tests and that. I never done my GCSEs in it, so yeah, I never done it, so I don't know. Okay. But like test-wise, grade-wise, I was always getting good grades. There was nothing wrong with me, bro. It was just my behavior, it was just my behavior in it. It's like, okay, I get good grades on everything I do. Oh, so you did well in school? I didn't get GCSEs, but I did very well in school. I don't have GCSEs, but alright, I'm fine. I didn't get GCSEs, but I did very well in school. I was never a dummy bitch. I'm up there. And it was just a thing where...
Many times Jared has referenced this quote-unquote ADD, although some people...
And of course, since I'm the typical Jezebelic Munchausen mom, this happened to all my siblings. Like, I know my older scapegoat brother, he would be forced on these drugs, and they would make him sit in one spot all day with his mouth open, drooling and peeing on himself, and he couldn't do anything. And then they made my brother try to unalive himself, my other brother. Oh yeah, they also took away his appetite and made him not be able to eat.
Families. Jared got diagnosed with this in the 4th or 5th grade, and immediately he was put on medication that changed his whole personality.
They put you on anything for it?
For sure.
Adderall?
You know they love putting little kids on that
Especially
shit.
little black kids from the hood.
Of course. I don't really agree with that shit, bro. I was in 5th grade getting diagnosed with ADD. How the fuck can you tell a 5th grader they have ADD? He's in fucking 5th grade. How is he supposed to act? I started out with Folklin. I've been on all that Folklin. What's the Ritalin, Vyvanse, Adderall, all that shit.
Folklin, Ritalin, Vyvanse, and Adderall are all ADHD stimulants. What's interesting is that if you don't...
And then of course he does try to make it seem like people who take their quote-unquote meds don't end up becoming addicts, but no, these are gateway drugs.
But also make something of himself. He never took a liking to education as far as I could tell. And a big factor that could have been contributing to this is Melly's ADHD. November 2014, I'm gonna be on my ADHD medication all week, so don't say to me. I might be on demon. They got me on 4 different medications to keep me and my mind right. ADHD stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. It's a condition that affects how your brain works. Despite its name, ADHD doesn't mean that you lack attention.
And of course these are always abused boys, melanated boys, and of course there's no real test for any of these things. And these are thrown on gifted people. But I plan on making another video about what I like to call racial autism / new autism, and it's going to go along with the playlist I have titled Anointed Prophetic Autism something. I don't really remember why I saved this, but I guess maybe because it has something to do with like gifted people sometimes being around the wrong people and being able to sense that. I don't really
I'm
remember.
sitting there like, and I watch him just tear somebody down to pieces, and I'd just be watching, you know, I'm like, well, gosh, I hope he doesn't do that to me, right? And then it happened a couple of times, and I just, man, I'm not interested in doing this, you know, and I'm not going to out nigga you, you know what I mean? I don't want to do that. That's stressful and it's counterproductive. I'm just going to walk away. I'm just going to say, you know, good luck to you, right? Same thing happened when I was interacting with Kanye. Same thing, Kanye. And here's my point. I bring those two guys up not because I'm trying to attack them, because I like them both. I really do. And remember, my wife's a therapist. I'm looking for both of us to be great. And so then on top of that, I grew up bullied. It was like, well, you know, he was just talking like that. You should just let that go. I'm like, no, I can't let them fuck him. You know, right? Like that's how, you know what I mean? So to me, it's like, why does it have to be?
Okay, so that was the point I was getting at. And then also, I did want to put in 2 clips from a Justin Burns live video, but it's down now because it was only up for like 3 days for like some free something session. But in that video, he talked about how he was bullied and how people who were gifted get bullied because people can see the light in them and they can see that they're different or that you're different. So that's why I put this in here.
Mind you, I'm already locked in with the man in my hood as well, so I'm thinking, I ain't never heard none of these niggas getting slapped in the face or bullied or I'm hanging out with them, and at the time, my best mate, rock essential, so it's like, I kind of had to adapt. I adapted. That's why I adapted still. I didn't even want to be this way. Like literally, on the pole, they was fucking with me bad. Like, bro, these men were waiting for me outside the class, intimidating, kind of saying, like, the thing is, you're not intimidating, because I just knew none of them was going to smoke me. It's like, you're doing this because I'm small. If I was 6 foot and like bad built like the rest of you, you're not going to be like fucking what? Because I'm used to being treated poorly and da-da-da. Like, it's kind of just like a coward in and da-da-da. I just decided one day I didn't want to be. Like, I get like 6A, 6B. Like, that's what we had, like, testing that. I never done my GCSEs, so yeah, but like, test-wise, grade-wise, I was weird getting good grades. There was nothing wrong with me, bro. It was just my behavior, like, it was just my behavior, innit?
What changed with your behavior? Because you said it before in other school. Right. Yeah.
Like, what changed with my behavior was cool. I've gone to this second school now, yeah, and even though I'm quite talkative and bubbly, I like to say to myself anyways, people are naturally drawn to me. People are drawn to me now, and I remember there became another time, guys just decided they didn't fuck with me anymore. I said, you know what? This wouldn't happen to me if I slapped them. Like this, because you know what? Like, I'm already coming from an environment where people aren't treating me right, so I'm kind of used to people treating me right. So it's not really a bother. But it's like, bro, why does nobody treat me right? Like, what's wrong with me? I linked up with my friends, I'm explaining the situation to me. He's like, bro, I'm gonna check that live. I'm saying, well, I can't stab anybody.
And then also another thing is that like the parents don't care, and there's a lot I can say about that. But
I was good to you, man. Like, it takes so hard, man. I was good to you. I can't my sister, like, they're like, you know, just fucking come in. It's like, well, I defend that still.
You left it to me, so what happened? You like.
Bro, I put my foot down. I told my big sister, I said, listen, I ain't going to this school, bro. Like, I'm not going. I'll kill myself. Like, I'll kill myself. Say no more. My big sister, she's like, I'm a minute, so it's like, say no more. She said, cool, you don't want to go. I'll find you a new school. I went there. I bring in like year 8, and then I had to leave in year 9 because of my behaviour. So I went to a unit. And I fucked a unit, and I fucked with her, and I'm in now, innit? I lasted 3 days, bro.
I know that like at some point I may have the timestamp, but they call like the sped stuff, the alternative schools. I know my mom had got me put in a Jim Crow self-confined placement that was called the SSBC EBD EE something. But right before I escaped, I was put in that. But apparently, like in London or whatever, they called him Center, Unit, and Sprue. And I know there's this other guy, if I can find the video, or at least his channel, I put in the description, but he makes Chosen One videos, and he talked about like going to school and having to deal with like the abuse from the Jezebelic family system, and the students and the teachers, and like getting beat on by the teachers, and then getting beat on by relatives. Okay, wait a minute, where was I?
She even said, I was the first school for 2 weeks and moved.
Yeah, they treated me wrong in that.
In 2 weeks? Bro, I'm supposed to be a week. Okay.
I came from cool. Say no more. Let me set the scenery. Let me set the scenery. See when I'm growing up, yeah? Bro, I'm scared of everything, everyone. Like,
What was bad about the upbringing that you actually recognized? Because some people are just raised a certain way, and the last way I was raised, but you actually said if my upbringing was better from year 7.
yeah,
That's very early.
From childhood, so if it was better, I would have been great. Like, obviously, adults never really spoke to me very nicely. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like my main points of care never really treated me very nice. So I'm used to, I'm coming up and if somebody was to turn around to me one day and decide they didn't like me, well, that's normal, isn't it? Because that's my environment anyway. But it was like, if I already feel a type of way in a place I can't escape right now, I can't feel this way outside. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, I was a neat, bro. Like, Rachel.
And that makes me think about also being in the Cash for Kids system, which is what she's describing with these SPED placements, as they would be called in the U.S. Like, I remember, especially in the Jim Crow self-confined placement, I was like, I can't, like, deal with them and deal with, like, the Jezebelic family system. And it makes me think about this thing that I always said, you have to, like, choose your battles. Like, you can't have an abusive friend that's beating on you and then, like, let them beat on you, but then have to go home and get beat up by people that you have to get beat up by, I guess. That's too many slaps to the face. That's what I always say. You don't want to be getting slapped by the teacher, getting slapped by some fake friend, and getting slapped by somebody you're dating, and then getting slapped by a relative or something. You gotta, like, pick your battles. You gotta cut some people off. In fact, since I have a lot of abuse evidence, like, all over the internet, pretty much, I've stumbled across, like, some old, like, things about that situation, and if I remember, I may, like, edit in some messages from my older enabler sister from when I had hid outside the self-confined placement. I definitely still have videos about that. Well, not I hid outside of it, I hid, like, away from it so I wouldn't have to go and be tortured by them too and deal with Miss Britt and all her bullcrap. And this is what I mentioned in my last video about, I don't even know what it was titled, pretty much like mommy issues and BPD type stuff.
It's like, I might have been raised that way, but I didn't want to stick to what I knew. Furthermore, the way I was being raised, I never even got a chance to figure myself out. I didn't know if I was bad or not. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know. But the way you're treating me and raising me, you're telling me I'm a coward, I'm this, I'm now, so I'm saying no more. I guess this is just who I am. Yeah. That's not me.
Who's this telling you?
My main point of care.
And as a side note, I can't remember what video it was, this was a while ago, but some lady was talking about how you notice that whenever quote-unquote black people become successful, they never talk about their childhood. And one of the things about it is that, I mean, I could get why somebody wouldn't want to for a lot of reasons. And generally, like, I mean, I've always been looked at crazy for even doing the abuse evidence videos, but it's like, especially if you're, like, kind of successful, you can just go viral, more and more people are going to see it, and then you know that, like, your relatives are going to come at you saying, okay, so why'd you tell everybody this and that, even though everybody already knew anyways, to be honest. But there's also the cognitive dissonance side for a lot of people. And although I know in another interview, maybe it was this one, actually no, it was another one, she mentioned, like, kind of cutting people off, but generally most people end up with cognitive dissonance and, like, the whole parent worship thing, as I call it. I know I was watching this one financial video, and this one lady was talking about some, she had to move back in with her mom, and she was laughing about something, and her mom had walked by and was like, why are you laughing? Your life is in shambles. And it's like, shoot, I would have to slap her, because first of all, that's funny though, because I've had people, like, say similar things to me since running away, since I'm now just labeled off as, like, quote-unquote homeless, but this is the best my life has been, so it's like, people always have bull crap to say, but it's like, I mean, shoot, if you don't laugh, you'll cry, I guess.
Okay, cool.
My main point of care is that, you say, like, a couple of me and some girls were like the only ones getting boyfriends in there, innit? So I'm thinking, like, what, did I wake up one day and like, I hate all these people? Like, wait, I was these people, I was looking at them, I don't know these people. One day, I wake up, I go into school, nobody likes me anymore. Huh?
I'm telling you, you don't like you.
Listen, you know I get to secondary, bro. Listen, I walked through the door, someone called me over, I bust the corner, there's just a bag of yellow. Mind you, I'm like 4 foot 10, these times skinny as hell, I'm dumb, I'm so even thin. I'm like, what? Do I come through? I see a bag of yellow waiting for me, I'm like, yo, what am I meant to do here? I'm like, oh shit, obviously I'm me.
Delicate dance of saying I love you, but I don't love your sponsor. Yeah. Well, sometimes you gotta have that hard conversation, right? Some people will just take it in stride, and some people may say, well, I'm not speaking to you anymore. You're a hater, you're this and the other, right? It's just that term hater is an ignorant term. We need to leave that term in 2005 or something, because it's what it does is it kills critical thinking, right? So that means if you're not like me and just sort of going with the flow and following the crowd and doing what feels good, then, oh, you're a hater. Okay, well, that's okay. You know, that's actually, I would argue that's actually part of masculinity too. You know, my daddy was a hater. Man, I did an interview on Stephen A. Smith show in 2009. A letter to the president, which I did, and I wrote the letter. The first version, I'm like, well, you need to do this and do this and do this. And then his people, rest of his people were like, no, you gotta be nice. I'm like, man, fuck that. I can't. This is bullshit, man. Right? But I was like, okay, all right, for the sake of this, I'm doing
in here, because the mental health system, especially with the newer version of autism, the newer label and what that means, is a good thing that's been, well, I won't say a good thing, but it's been being used to, like, confuse gifted people, and it gives them a sense of belonging because they feel like they need an excuse for why they're different and a reason for why people don't like them. And so even though this is about another type of condition, how she reacted to getting diagnosed makes me think about how people feel in the sense of relief that they're given that is really manipulation.
Status, and we can start you on some treatments for that. And I don't really remember this that well, but I was just feeling like happy that there was a name for what I was experiencing. I wasn't like this medical mystery anymore. So I felt a sense of what do we call it? Comfort, maybe? I don't know that I can put a word on it, but after that, I
think I got suspended from kindergarten, to be quite honest. I think it came from, like, me telling the teacher that what we were learning was dumb. But if you think about it, like, my parents were trying to teach me, like, I was going to, like, abacus competitions, like, multiplication, division, etc. back in, like, kindergarten. And in school, they were literally like, here's the alphabet, right? And I was just very bored as a child. So I was always trying to figure out, like, different things to do. I was, like, learning stuff on my own. Specifically, like, the stuff I learned was to, like, make money. But eventually, I discovered my love for product. And I was like, oh, this is actually really fun. But you could see glimpses of it where, like, I tried to start my own virtual pet site after being addicted to Neopets.
And it also makes me think about the Jerry Ellsworth story. She was kicked out of school for being quote-unquote bad, but really she was just really smart. And she's a self-taught electrical engineer.
For the various needs, because no one cares about a country that they deem is third world, or strength and poverty. As you can see, they go after, like we stated, the middle class, they go after the poor. There is a reason that they do that. So for a while, it was alleged, it's been alleged, especially when the earthquake happened.
Wait a minute. That's not it.
Well, you can try them. And over time, we were fascinated to find out, well, he doesn't like learning. Well, no kidding. No, that boy probably loved learning. If you put him in an environment that's actually conducive to the God-given, interests and impulses that he had. I think we were finding out. Things started to become common. Except what we did was we drug young boys to be fit in the system.
And I'm pretty sure Dr. Umar and plenty of other people have talked about this throughout the years. Oh, I think I accidentally cut that part out, but I know the next clip, that kid was talking about how many geniuses are pretty much stunted by the school system. And I know like a lot of people that go through the SRA, Ramco Gate branch of the Cash for Kids system, if they're not turned into like super soldiers and used by the government and put in these high positions, like in politics, they're left like homeless or in some other bad situation, or they just keep getting dragged through the Cash for Kids system and human cash cow systems. I know like Imagination Podcast had did an interview where someone was talking about how the government has secret list of nonverbal kids who can read minds. But that's what Gate is all about. In this interview, at least at this part, she's talking about her song Need Focus and the line, I think it was 14 when I first chilled in a band, 15 years when my blade got swung, 16 when I said, screw being normal, I'm gonna be the oddest one, something like that. Okay, hold up. Now if I can get it to play.
Cool. On that song, you said 16 when I said forget being normal. 16 when I said forget being normal. I mean, that wasn't too long ago. You're 17 now, right?
No, I'm 18 now.
You're 18 now. So that was 2 years ago. And that's the opening line of the song.
But you know, I was always a weird you. I was always weird, but I was getting bullied for my weirdness, innit? And I wasn't trying to be a weirdo. When I turned 16, I was like, no, man, something's got to change. So I'm just going to embrace my weirdness. So I do my own thing.
I mean, weird means different things to different people, man. So what is weird in your eyes?
I was a genuine weirdo, like.
And then in this one, she also talks about the whole, I guess they call it center and sprue, but pretty much like the special ed thing.
I was sleeping and Jesus sent me a dream, and I just want to share my dream. Anybody time for dreams all the time? We live in the real world, and I think that's a really important distinction to make in the economic world. You have to understand there's a whole lot of people that benefit by feeding dreams to black people. They get you all pumped up and give you great speeches and give you the Holy Ghost, and then nothing changes. But when you have something that's real and tangible and there and done and moving, that means everything. That's so much more valuable than an idea. So let me read a little more. So that's when I had to start communicating and shit like that. I just remember like being in school and I was like, okay, I get good grades on everything I do.
Oh, so you did well in school?
I'm like, I didn't get GCSEs, but I did very well in school. I don't have GCSEs. I didn't get GCSEs, but I did very well in school. Like, I was never a dummy bitch. Like, I'm up there. And it's just a thing where I didn't know everything, but obviously it's like when I'm in my classes and I'm learning, I'm always the first one to know the questions, I have to know the answers to the questions, I always get good grades on my tests. I felt so superior to everybody else. I felt like I was always communicating with nitwits. And it's like, I didn't like now I'm aware of how systems, so I know how to manipulate my brain, and I know why I feel this way sometimes. I did like communication. Idiots got me really irritated really fast. I would get like really flustered. Sometimes it would get me upset. I don't like being too emotional or something. I didn't like having to be friends with people. I didn't like after school. I didn't like it. So I told myself, well, you need to find something to do that doesn't require this because like this just isn't it. Because
oh wow, no college.
I put into a unit, like a temporary school, I guess, like for 4 years. I stayed for a while. I wasn't feeling it. People just made me really uncomfortable there. Like I just don't like feeling uncomfortable. I'm not confrontational at all. I'm not into any of that. I don't do any of that. And I was around a lot of people who weren't like that. So it's like, you know, when you're like, I guess one day they just decided they didn't like it. Right. And they turned out to be way more people that were worried about me than I was ever worried about them, because there were people that would pop up. I didn't, oh my gosh, what do you mean you don't like me? I don't even know you are. That's so real. Like, why are you here? You don't even go, she doesn't even go here. Like, I don't know who's up. So it's like, one day they just decided they didn't like it.
So you already built a name for yourself being you, and people already had an issue before you would even see Xanders.
You don't know my lord. Before I went to my unit, they would probably tell you like, I'm witty, I'm funny, I'm very smart. So my teachers say that all the time, I'm very smart. I'm very educated, I'm a very lovely girl, and you know, I just make a temper and attitude sometimes. That's the stuff you get in with, bitch. Like,
all your teachers, even the ones in Hackney?
The ones in Hackney didn't care. The only teacher in Hackney that could tell you something really good about me was my RE teacher, my homeroom teacher, my science teacher.
So quite a few teachers.
Yeah. But those are the ones that paid attention to me because those are the ones whose grades I was the highest in. History.
Okay.
Well, homeroom, you don't get grades homeroom, but science and history, English, nuts. I was going nuts in there. I love science. Oh, I love history.
Really?
Yeah, it's my history. I love it. I love learning about the world wars. I love.
And I saw a comment saying quite something along the lines, I went to school with her and our teacher said that she'd never amount to nothing, and now look at her.
Oh wow, that's
new information?
That's maybe I was present in the class.
That's new news to you?
Well, you know what, yeah, maybe the teachers were everyone else was on too and just decided they didn't like me, but that doesn't sound realistic. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so we cleared that comment, whoever commented
in my unit, like
really?
That is so unrealistic.
I mean, that is such also a common thing that people say in general. No, like a lot of people say, oh, my teacher said I'd never amount to nothing.
I've never rapped about that. None of my teachers have ever said that to me, so that's really sad.
16, when I said F being normal, at 16, did you feel like an outsider? Did you know you were different? And has that helped you get this far?
I felt like an outsider all my life. At 16, it was just Gara. Like 12, it was like, oh, I'm going through things, they don't like me. 13, it was, oh, I'm a teenager, I'm going through things, they don't like me. 14, it was, oh, I'm a teenager, I'm going through things, they don't like me. I don't think I like them. 15, it was like, bitch, I don't like anybody, but you know, I'm not ready to say it yet. 16, I'm just like, wait a minute, what the fuck is going on? Let me log the fuck in and put my big boy pants on. Got the big boy pants on. I don't have the back sense, I'll be honest. Like,
Being outside and not blending in and standing out.
do you know what? Yeah, when I look at myself in a room full of people, I don't feel like I'm any different. However, that room full of people make it very obvious to me that I'm different. Whether it be the compliments that they say, whether it be
What type of compliments?
oh, I love your energy. I've been watching you dance the whole time. I love, like, I saw you from over there. I love what you're wearing. Your eyes, your this, your energy, your aura, stuff like that. Like, you're beautiful now, stuff like that. Like, I'm just always like, yeah, I'm definitely different from this cast here. Like, I'm definitely something that people haven't seen before or stumbled across often, which I take a lot of pride in.
What a rare artifact.
Okay. That I take a lot
revealed that his classmates cannot read. He revealed he basically had them read something, some very pretty simple stuff, and literally his classmates cannot read. About to be possibly expelled from school. They threatened to expel him, and the reason that they threatened to expel him is because he revealed that his classmates cannot read. He revealed he basically had them read something, some very pretty simple stuff, and literally they couldn't get through it. They couldn't read. It was a word like silhouette. They couldn't pronounce the word silhouette, and they threatened to expel him for doing this, right? So let me play this video, and I'm gonna play actually my little reaction to it. I was so curious about this. I did this video last night, and here it landed, and I said this is something I said about this. I'll tell you what it is in a minute. Let me first play this so you can see the context, and then I'll kind of break it down for you on a more detailed level. So here it goes. School kids are about to be kicked out of school because of this video.
She wore a suit, clothes that were, what was this for? Extraordinary, but somewhat culture?
That's what that means.
I don't know.
She wore a solid of clothes that were extraordinary, whatever, bro.
Hey, oh baby. She wore some clothes that were.
She wore a. I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you're saying.
Let me explain to you how the world works. Okay, all right. So I'm not gonna play that since I'm talking to you live, and you can pass the rest of my Instagram out the voice mine is.
The reason I edited in the last clip is because, to make a long story short, it's so interesting how the school system, branch of the Cash for Kids system, will work so hard, especially with the help of abusive and even Jezebelic abusive house nigger and etc. parents, and even just other abusive parents of different ethnicities, to sabotage kids who are smart and to kick them out, but then they'll let the kids who can't read and are almost 21 stay. I just find that so interesting. They work really, really hard to get rid of the people who are smart, I guess I could say, and they feel are an actual threat. And unfortunately, these people are already in bad situations, usually. I know there was the ATL Marcus the Mason Street Interviews video where he was being sarcastic to a boy that was talking about how he went from gifted classes to special ed, and that can definitely go like that because they're both a branch of the Cash for Kids system and human cash cow systems, and AG is a branch of SPED.
In the prison. No shots fired at anybody got a uniform. Please don't play that over and try and cut it up. Y'all who be stealing stuff from Instagram. No, why am I gonna put you in a uniform? Why is it a pipeline in prison? Uniforms. What are you wearing in prison? Uniforms. For me, it's a training ground. So here's the thing so if I have a teacher and I want you to worry about math and I put that student in a uniform, that teacher is now worried about that checklist in your uniform.
And then I also wanted to throw this in because one of the things about a lot of this quote-unquote disability stuff is that I know what people think of when they hear that, but it's just not people's stereotypes. And I'm not saying this to be rude, but like people think about somebody throwing stuff and like slobbing and yelling, but that's not really that's not the people that are actually really in these Cash for Kids system placements. I mean, yeah, like people like that, they did get put in like the human cash cow systems a lot since the start of all of it, even going back to the Catholic Church, but that's not what any of this stuff is about. And you've already seen the types of people who like get put in these placements. Just like somebody once said, and I used to quote a lot back there in the abuse evidence channels, special ed is a dumpster, a trash can for traumatized kids. And I talk about that all the time, but you see here that like, unfortunately, the people that get thrown in these abuse placements don't even get to like have the usual benefits of like people who are labeled off as a quote-unquote normal kid or the good kids or the kids who somebody actually gives a crap about, the people who somebody actually gives a crap about. When they're put in these placements and they have these labels and stuff thrown on them, and I know there's an IEP and I think there's something called a 504 or 405, and that's what people like the bad boy, the bad black boy ADHD label will be put on, and that actually follows you as well. But like once you have that, you can't even like get in normal programs. Like there's after school program for something, or there's like some science fair, what's the other thing called? Honor roll concert, whatever they call it, where like if you're on honor roll you go to like some event. When you're in these abuse placements, you can't go to any of that stuff, and that's just the bare minimum.